You have a letter, right?
Well, yes, I did. I do have the letter.
Okay. There's a lot more we need to talk about. We need some quiet.
Quiet. Redwall.
Mm-hmm.
It seems we'll need to wander if we
Please,
want
anyway, we
quiet.
can see someone sneaking up on us.
Oh. Good day, Nix. Let us know.
I'm scared.
Oh, that's true.
What do you taste like?
Everything. Why are you giving?
This
What did you
guy's
give him?
fucking...
Rainbow's going on. I just got here.
Rainbow.
That sound way.
How often do you venture into the mountains?
In Redwall?
Yeah.
I've never been on.
It'll be another lovely little rest station for us then. I guess they know how to make it. Pretty cozy.
I take it you're the kind of person who knows all of the nice quiet spots. That's useful.
Oh yes, I have the geographical data of all the worlds. Well, hot spots.
Geographical data is one thing. Having good taste is another.
Really good for me. That'd be
Well, there's
really good
food.
for us, so we could actually make the potions.
That's a plus.
So we can actually do it, and also so he's not losing out on money. Hi, you guys.
Good evening.
First, I gotta tell you something. Is
Yes.
I've been buying the reselling his potions for weeks.
How often do you find yourself in this direction? Maybe you know where we're going.
I've actually never once been here. I've never been to this particular corner of Redwood. That was always there?
Yep.
What? Huh. I'll be honest with you, I don't come to Redwood very often.
There's a lot of things you could see if you looked. A lot of things. Welcome to Ingot Top.
Ingot top. Understand? I think this was hiding under Redwall this entire time.
Not even hiding. There used to be a close relationship between the dwarves here and, well, Redwall as a town.
What happened? I barely see Corsair anymore.
They're smart. That's what they are. They sealed themselves away until things get better. First the Umbral, then the Daedra, and everything else.
I suppose I can't even blame them. Things are absolutely crazy at the moment.
Or they still have some
Then
courtesy.
again,
They send out some servants every now and then, they fill out this room. Help yourself to some hearth and home.
Leave somewhere quiet.
There's also guest rooms if you need to sleep somewhere, well, private.
Gotcha. I'm well aware that what I'm about to tell you is going to sound crazy is an understatement. Yeah. But we have very little time to move, and I need your help on this.
Alright. Nice and comfortable. So, we may have a lead on Nef's killer, potentially. Alright, that whole thing.
There's two separate... there's two separate threads which may or may not be interwoven. We're trying to figure that out. The main thing is we need to trap Lajali in a place that she can't escape, so we can interrogate her. I have justification as to why.
You can go on.
Lajali as she is, I believe, is not actually Lajali. Some kind of alchemical clone is my best bet. I've been trying to look into Lajali's shit for a while, ever since I first heard that she was working on clones. Because I knew something was up. And she made one for the stupidest of fucking reasons as well. She was accused of a crime, and then temporarily there was a tracking crystal placed on her. Somehow, in that time, she managed to make a clone to attach the tracking crystal to so she could move freely. It's ridiculous. Regardless, she's created a clone, and now I believe that clone has assumed her actual identity. It's tried to get Stern involved because it was planning to kill the original Lajali and then disintegrate the body entirely, remove any evidence. What's worse is this clone was present for Nexus's surgery. So, for all we know, it could have had a hand in that, because Desmond left the letter. I have various bits of proof, but most damning of which I got by accident. I was with Stern earlier today. She's not doing so well, but a letter was delivered to her from one who's claiming to be the real Lajali, saying that the one at the surgery wasn't her. Shit. For fourth dimensional reasons, I have something I need to go take care of for a short while, so you... Yep, on it.
Interesting. Interesting. So it would seem, despite my best efforts, I still poke and prod with what shouldn't belong. Alchemical clone. An alchemical clone. Consciousness. And lo and behold, it's gotten out of hand, just as they always fucking do. When they're fucking half measured. Not only is this a waste and disgrace to consciousness in life, for such a petty reason too. Poor thing. Identity disorder. I should have that thing killed by myself. I should have killed both of them. It would be the real one if both are dead. I was hoping, by all the gods, that maybe you, Leslie, might have given me a chance to hold off, show otherwise, but now you've sealed your fate. You've sealed your fate. I'm not sorry. It's okay. Growth and nature off the table. Difficulties blood magic, but I'll have to manage. Can do protection easy enough. Stone for the stones again. The muggles will need for that next step. Oh. Hello, Jarro.
That I am. Two hours into soft, so about 2 hours from now. 3 hours from now. Right. Understandable. Yeah. Aye, give me... Yeah, I'll probably be here.
Hi, Loops. Can you hear me now? Sorry. I was doing a quick deafen for the chat to talk to somebody. Can you hear me now? Yes, no? Testing, schmesting, besting, as one does. Cool. We going good. So as you can tell, today it's your current subject, like a switch flipped. Your current category of Nox. Nox might kill someone today. It's gonna be so ironic too. Cause they're gonna be dragged out of Glass City under false pretenses, and it's been approved by a DM. So that's all the spoilers you get for now. Want to learn more? You need to stick around till the end. There's your viewer incentive of the day, Loops. Though, because Nox is a bit quirky like that and has a bit of someone's blood, he's gonna do a small little chicken. I hope you get better. Hope we get better, Loops. Because I spied in the instance a tug. And I need to have them prepped. Because Nox has a special little portion of their blood, as one does. I get to keep tabs on that. But yes, pat for the Loops. Get better. Drink some water. Yeah, I think that Dominion talk or whatever happened was because of Red and the pirates essentially, and Durdley. Because on technicality, Red was ex-Dominion, but the Dominion name was thrown around, so that caused Nox to be in some shit, I'm sure, due relations and proxy. Then again, Nox doesn't like the Glass City, specifically Julian. Specifically Julian. I mean, well, why whispers have been there on the plot lines of, you know, when the Glass City is ready and Classic's comfortable with it, having a little siege scene. But that's just hearsay from me. I'm just a player after all. Yeah. You know what's gonna be the fun part of it all? Nox is probably gonna be on the losing side. Nox is a good soldier. A good soldier that follows orders. But of course, there will probably be a plot twist that nobody expects. Who knows? Who knows how this shall go? Only time will tell. Only time will tell.
Timing couldn't possibly have been worse. My apologies for that.
You are good. I showed more resolve than I stayed. Where were we?
So, Lajali has been potentially replaced by a clone, and that clone may or may not be related to Nexus's death. Unconfirmed.
In what way?
So, well, I have a letter from one of the Lajalis saying not to trust the other one at all, and yeah, that letter was intended for Stern. I happened to see Stern when she got it, so quite lucky on that front. I know that Lajali was working on Soulcraft, which
Now this topic again.
I know near nothing about. Yeah, I know near nothing about it, but there's a possibility that it was sabotaged by Lajali, or Lajali. Perhaps not. That's a separate issue. The point is, we still need to get our hands on the Lajalis running around at the minute, because if nothing else, it's trying to kill the other Lajali. And, well, it's a headache we really don't need.
You know, it's funny that this very similar situation happens not even a day after my whole talk with you in Halifax. One
No
thing I stressed be careful about. What was that again?
Giving them their own personality and
And
individuality.
consciousness when they're made haphazardly and for petty reasons. Such petty reasons to just go about and make new life. And of course, it goes wrong.
Mhm.
Of course it goes wrong.
So, there is some fairly good timing here. I wasn't lying in my letter when I said I need to head out, and Terramus is going to be a good place for me to go to lay low for a while.
Right.
So before that, I do need that surgery, and since I've been the one pushing Lajali to get more involved with magical biology and that kind of thing, this is a perfect excuse for me to invite Lajali along with someone else, because, no offense, Nox, I do trust you, but given the fact that earlier today someone died in surgery, it's a good idea.
It
to have
is
someone
stressful
searching
at the
around, so I'm
moment.
thinking of having Aether. I was thinking of bringing Aether along, but this also is the perfect excuse to head to your demiplane, or, well, your office, which is it your
My
demiplane?
office?
Is it just build a demiplanes? It's your domain, is the point.
Yeah, I can mix it around.
Hmm.
Don't get it twisted. We will have
The
to
point
do
is,
a small walk before we can get there from the Nexus. You have to go through town, well, the city.
Understood. Well, either way, it's going to be a perfect opportunity to drag Lajali, or Lajali, somewhere that she's on severe back foot.
Right. I can obviously tell why the situation has begun to begin with the one wanting to take out the other.
Truth be told, I don't even think it's a problem with the cloning process. I just think that Lajali didn't understand how she'd feel if there was a copy of herself.
Oh no,
I
that's
genuinely
exactly
think
what
that's
it is. They, as a person,
Hmm.
right, self-centered, egotistical psychopath. Of course, that personality goes to the clone. And of course, they'd want to kill each other because of it.
Yeah. I've got Halifax chasing up the other one. Well, I say the other one. Technically, we don't know if there's just two or if there's more, but frankly, if there's more than two, that's a headache for another day.
There should be some
I
sort
don't
of
know where
checks
to
and
begin with that.
balances to be upheld in this place. Because to make something as extreme and complicated as that, for such a small and trivial reason, and just because they could, that is something that should not last.
Yeah. Not just that, but someone has to have been helping her. There's no way that Lajali was able to do something this potent on her own. And here's the thing, I need that clone alive. I need that clone alive. I just want to stress that.
I at least hear you,
I
Red.
don't want it killed. Okay, thanks. There's both personal and practical reasons for not wanting to be killed, but, well.
Are you going to, by chance, pity something
Practical.
again?
This is more... How do I put this? I know what it's like being on the other side of the fence. I didn't think about that when I made Obsidian because I didn't realize that Obsidian was going to diverge. But I am painfully aware of what it's like being on the other side of someone else's consciousness. Existing when you shouldn't. It's, not a fun topic.
Hmm.
And the practical reason is, well, how familiar are you with Rift?
He's my best
I mean,
friend.
I know you've been,
I've known him
well,
probably longer than you.
I wouldn't doubt that. I remember seeing him in some of your memories. Hold on a second. When I was going through your memories, did he still have both arms then?
Well, yes. It was just as a twig as
Well, what is
always.
this? Strange. But no, the practical reason why I want this is... It's not exactly my place to say, but this clone might provide very valuable insight into helping Rift with something. Which, well... It's a long story.
Okay. Okay.
You alright?
It's the thoughts. Usually, it's these damnable thoughts. It's all that I know. Now I'm just supposed to let it slide. Just let it slide, Nox. Let it slide. They won't agree with you. Let it slide. You want to cause trouble. You don't want
I'll
to
hear you
cause
out.
trouble.
Nox, you're helping to prolong my life. I will pay you out.
Lazuli has been on the shortest end of my patience for a good number of days now. Because I had talks in confidence with people that care about my friend. And apparently, through one way or another, Lazuli is so convinced that they're going to do something so stupidic to Dehest, and it's going to get Rift killed. And I don't even know what it is.
You might not have the full story. Because, well, one, of course she lets information slip because we had to promise a fucking Archmage that we wouldn't. Not to mention Rift doesn't want us talking about this kind of thing, but I'll say this. Lashley is involved with trying to help Rift from Behest. Lashley's not the only one. I'm also one of them, and there are more of us. And Lashley is not... Well, I'll be honest with you. Part of me feels like Lashley is probably in it for her own benefit. But... she's not acting alone, and there are checks and balances in place to make sure that... I can't even say that. There's a collective of people all working on a rough plan to help Rift. Again, I'm one of them, and I'm probably the one who knows more about Rift than anyone, which is not something I ever expected to say.
Takes a single split off for everything to come crumbling down.
Yeah, I know. Can I be honest with you? Part of me is worried that Rift is using me. Rift has said outright that he believes that I'm willing to die for him. And he's been trying to gauge whether or not I'd let my friends also die to that end. He sees me as someone who's bound enough to him through debts that I will help him, and someone who's not close enough to him for him to care if I were to take the fall for something.
You want to know, Rift, when I remember him before you probably showed up to Aether, he loved making contracts with entities and familiars. At one point, he made a contract with a unicorn just to get a bit stronger. That was an Aether, by the way. In the arena of all places. Point is, he, same as me, he's a mage, I guess is the most blanketest way to put it. He uses resources, twists words, he's charismatic, which makes him worse in his own way, but he's still my friend. So only you can either prove him right or prove him wrong. I wouldn't die for him per se. I have many things I need to still do. That'd help.
I don't plan on dying for him.
Good.
But I've got him to the point where he believes that I will. And, well, don't get me wrong. I do owe him a lot, but I don't trust him as far as I can throw him. It's,
Unfortunately, the fact with that you can throw him pretty fucking far. Truly light as a goose.
Yeah.
But
Still,
I understand.
I probably shouldn't be including you in this scenario regarding Rift, but at this stage, fuck it. How do I put it? I'm running out of people I can trust.
I
I'm
am
running out of people I can trust.
flattered, I suppose, and deeply sorry for your losses.
Remix turned out to be manipulative. Stern has snapped. The two people who I relied on the most, both are just... I don't fucking know. Yeah. Halifax, who admittedly at first I didn't see as a friend, I saw as a tool. It's kind of fucked that she's the one I can trust more than anyone else at the minute, just because she's made sacrifices just to make me feel more comfortable, which I'm deeply grateful for. But, well. Do you... Okay, first thing I'll say. Regarding Rift, he's not to know that you're involved. I know that's a big ask, but you might be an ace in the hole.
Very well.
He's aware of most of the people who are involved. Okay. Do you know what Rift is?
Do you?
Yes, I do.
Well, let's see. I assume a Archmage's pet project. Well, that's my guess from what I have learned.
But that is
Because it's like I said, I knew
but
him
you can-
a good while into the college, and he was there for maybe 40-something years. That's like
in today's day.
an age a day, even through the 12 I was there with him. Couldn't even cast properly there. Didn't know how to cast properly.
given the status mana circuits, I can't really blame him. Have you seen them?
Well, I know he used to be arcane and suddenly had chaos spraying from him in an open wound.
Really?
That's what happened when he lost his arm. Chaos magic bled from it, like arcs of electricity.
Disorder, specifically.
Disorder, chaos, etc., etc.
Mhm.
Anyway, something unusual has happened.
Hmm. Even more than just that, or...
Just that.
Okay. So... There's a spell. It's kind of funny, actually. The thing that led to us discovering this... Well, two things happened at the same time, but... There's an 8th level spell, or 8th circle spell, I should say. Clone. You can create a clone of yourself which grows in a jar, and when you die, your spirit is transferred to that, yeah?
Right.
Archimedes Maverick Dehest, Archmage of Disorder, created a variant of that spell, 9th circle spell, called Archimedes Clone. It is essentially a clone which is able to be mobile while in the jar, as it were. What that means is you have a clone which is fully mobile, you build mana circuits into it, and it gathers experiences and power. When the original caster dies and possesses the clone's entire personality is wiped, but all of its accumulated power and
Essentially, if the
knowledge
Hest
is
dies,
given to
Rift
it.
dies, and the Hest is back.
Yes. So killing Dehest is something that cannot happen under
Thank
certain
you
circumstances
for
unless
the
you find a way
raid,
of
Evie.
reversing
Thank you for the raid. And this is why I assume
My current line of
they
in-
were worried about what Leslie was doing. They were certain whatever they were going to do was going to get Rift killed.
Honestly, that's probably just people assuming the worst because it's Lashley. Lashley, so far, all of the people involved so far have just been trying to court favors from Archmages. That's our main plan.
Nox is
Court
like
favors from Archmages so that we can
32, I
have the
think.
entire council
32 to
Archmages
36.
Overrule the Hest and then set Rift free effectively. That was before we knew all the details, but are you aware of what a magnum opus is for an Archmage?
I know what a magnum opus is from me. Or a masterwork,
Well,
at least.
For Archmages, they have to provide a magnum opus so they can take the seat of Archmage. It's their proving that they are the greatest at their given craft. For example, the last Archmage of Ruin created Powered Sunder, which can
Oh,
completely,
pause!
well, cleave through
Thank
rock,
you for the follow,
without it.
friend.
supposedly. Just as one example. I have no clue what the fuck
It's
Califax
funny
is
you tuned into this
magnum
stream
opus.
today. Nox might be
Yes, magnum opus is the spell.
taking
Archimedes.
someone to his office and maybe
However,
murdering them.
Archimedes'
We'll
clone
see how the
would
day
be classed
goes.
as completely unethical if the clone were proven to have a spirit. And also, if the clone were to have a spirit specifically, we could cast the spell Clone. Because Clone, so remember, Clone takes the caster who dies.
Yeah,
their
I figured I'd
consciousness,
let
their
you know,
memories,
because
everything about them
technically,
goes into a new body.
if you remember, Nox's
If Rift has a
office
spirit,
is in the
which is
scriptorium
what I need
inside the
Lashley's
noble
fucking clone
district
so I can start
of
studying it
Nighthold.
for.
So,
Then if Rift
Phew.
were to create a clone, which is a lot of effort,
Nobody's
we have to
getting out
hire
of there
a level necromancer,
if they get in there
and
to
we have
begin
cast
with.
a very, very, very potent spell. Then Rift creates a clone, Rift dies for whatever reason, then Rift is put into the new
Yep,
body.
thank
but he's
you.
separated from
I've
the
also
Hest
talked with
entirely,
Gyro
which is
to be
free.
a.
That would
an
also
asset.
prove beyond shadow of a doubt
Nox
that
is
Hest,
taking this goober in front of him to do
his,
some
his magnum
invasive
opus was
surgery
unethical.
to install basically a
and flawed. He
golem
loses
cord in their
his attack Archmage
spine.
and gets locked in the tower
Side
for
effects
a couple of
determined
turns.
ahead of time.
Here's the thing. I'm not
Now
acting
it's
on this
turned
information
into
because I do not
Nox
know
is
this
being
information
informed
because I do
Nox
not
is
know
being
if Rift
informed
has
that
spirits or not.
Lazuli,
I
at the
cannot
current
prove that
moment,
yet
the person he
until
kind
I
of wants
have
dead
way of
is maybe a
solidly
clone
proving it.
and wants
I'm
to
not
kill
moving forward with
people.
that
So he's like,
attack
hey,
because if it goes wrong, it'll
okay, I guess this is happening now.
understand.
And they want to
I
use
am
Nox's
very,
office
very,
because it still
very careful.
lasts before he got
I'm not
de-leveled,
playing
so
around
it still
with
has
this
its
life.
funny little tricks and quirks. So they think it's the opportune spot to trap and interrogate this clone. That's the gist of it. Either way, I'm making sure it doesn't mess with any of the overall, plot and setting of Dominion stuff. I got Jaro on it, helping me. This is so much to take in, even for me.
I know.
So, Dispel and cloning. Can you go over that one more time?
Say that again.
Topic of essentially, I think, dispelling the clone. What was that topic?
Okay,
again?
so dispelling the clone, for lack of a better term, the only way of freeing Rift from Dehest that I can think of right now is if Rift were to make a clone and Rift were to die, his spirit, if he has one, would be transferred to the new clone, which means that would no longer tie him to Dehest. So if Dehest dies, then Rift would be fine.
Are you
Because
sure
right now,
about
Rift
that?
is bound to Dehest. I talked to Califax about it. This is
I
uncharted
see.
territory,
That is.
but if Rift has a spirit, this is the only way we've found so far that would reliably free him. But at the same time, if Rift doesn't have a spirit, this would permanently kill him. That's why we need information out study spirits. We have Emmy, who's how do I put it? Emmy, who has some racial stuff going on tied to Spirit Hood. Emmy's currently looking into the spirit side of it. What I'm thinking is if Rift doesn't have a spirit, we need to find a way to ensure that this doesn't backfire either. All of Rift's mana conduits are bent and twisted and warped into some grotesque sigil on his back. His mana conduits are basically a spell circle. And that is the thing that's partially tying him to Dehest. It's like a beacon almost.
As I've
One
expressed,
thing I'm thinking.
conduits are made around the soul. If they are not uniform and an opening, there is no soul. Conduits protect the soul and are weaved with the affinities which are given amongst birth or creation. If there is nothing within the conduits,
Wow.
there is nothing.
Well, is that the soul or is that the spirit? Because they're two very different things.
Physical, ego, and
I need to
spiritual.
look up as well.
I put it to 3 clarifications
Okay.
and classifications. And those 2 go into 1.
Okay.
Nox heard about that, by the way, while he was
And there's a
unconscious
very
in the
real possibility
Healers
that Rift
Guild.
simply does not have a spirit, in which case, him creating a clone of himself.
You heard about whatever fuck should happen with the Dominion in the Glass City.
Another idea is if we can persuade Rift to let us see the sigil on his back for more than a split second. Hold on a second. Are we headed to the Glass City later today? For the Glass City, rather, are we headed to the beach?
Oh, you
Well,
have
like,
got
some
to... You know, this is so crazy, it might just work. Rift has always been
just thinking.
such a flirt.
Uh-huh.
I don't think it'd be too difficult
Wait,
if you maybe did a little bit of swooning.
Okay, hold on. That's kind of a line crossed a bit. No, more what I'm thinking is just surely it can't be. Just keep an eye on his back because the markings are very visible on his back. Or alternatively, if you can. And you're a soul mage. You can use soul sight, right? You can potentially try and see his map.
How many times do I have
would
to
have given you my
specify
thermometer.
the difference?
Mhm.
Soul magic is not the magic of souls.
Mm.
It is the soul of magic.
No, I know that. No. I know that. I'm not a magical ignoramus. I'm meaning soul sight specifically so you can see ley lines and mana conduits. So you can see the shape of his mana conduits to try and get a good read on the spells on him. So that you can then see if there's a way of rewriting that. After all, if this spell, which is on Rift, is taking all of the Hest's power and memories and everything else, if we find a way to cut the memories and personality, then if the Hest were to die, thinking that Rift will be okay, instead all that power goes to Rift, and the Hest is just lost to the ether.
That would be appreciated. Unless you underestimate the consciousness, the ego,
Mhm.
and the determination of an Archmage. And then that's a ticking time bomb in the future.
That's entirely possible.
You need to look at everything if you work in
But
my
I
line
think
of
we
work
need
as a
as many-
pessimist.